Hello viewers, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you what I've done in the LXC provisioning directory in my Kubernetes, just me and source Kubernetes repository to make it work. So, many of you might be using my vagrant provisioning scripts to bring up a 3-node Kubernetes cluster with 1 master node, 2 worker nodes. The vagrant provisioning scripts will provision the virtual machines either in KVM libvirt environment or in VirtualBox. Basically, those are virtual machines. And I also have the LXT provisioning, and I've done quite a few videos about LXT and how to provision a Kubernetes cluster in the LXT environment. But it has been broken for a while, for about a year or so. The last time I successfully ran a Kubernetes cluster in LXT environment was like a year ago when the Kubernetes version was 1.22. And I think since Kubernetes version 1.22, there were lots of things that were broken, and I couldn't get a Kubernetes cluster running successfully in an LXT environment. There were lots of patches, pull requests from some of my viewers, but none of them actually worked. One or the other thing actually kept breaking when I tried to run Kubernetes cluster in LXT provisioning. I tried different container runtime. I tried different versions of Kubernetes. I tried different images of LXC containers, but nothing seemed to work. But because my primary workstation is Linux, I always prefer to use lightweight containers rather than virtual machines. You can run more containers than virtual machines. So if you want to spin up a Kubernetes cluster, which requires a large number of worker nodes, then I would go for LXT environment. But since it was broken, my heart was broken, and I couldn't use LXT, and I reverted back to using vagrant provisioning with libvirt. But the good news is, after a repeated attempt, I managed to fix the LXT provisioning scripts. Now it's working perfectly fine. And I've also made some other changes so that it's very similar to the vagrant provisioning in terms of container runtime and the pod networking thing that we use. I've been using Calico for the vagrant provisioning scripts, but again, I had problems with running Calico in the LXT environment, so I was using Flannel, which was straightforward bare minimum networking for Kubernetes. I've been using Flannel for quite a while in the LXT environment, and now I managed to run Calico inside the LXT provisioning, so which means whether you choose vagrant provisioning or LXT provisioning, you're going to get a similar experience using my scripts. So they will have the same container runtime, they will have the same pod networking, and so on. Okay, so enough talking, and I'm going to spin up a cluster in the LXT environment, and then while the cluster is coming up, I'll walk you through the changes that I've done to make it work. So meanwhile, if you go to my channel, Just Me and Opensource, and search for LXT, for those of you who have not used LXT before, I've done quite a few videos about LXT containers here, and also a few videos around how to install Kubernetes cluster in the LXT environment. KTS plus LXC with containerd, so that was 3 years ago. KTS cluster in LXC containers. Kubernetes cluster on LXC containers. Again, this is like 4 years old, so I think this is a good time to do a follow-up video just to keep all the versions latest. Right, so let me go to the terminal, and okay, before that, I'm gonna explain you what my setup looks like. So here's my MacBook where I'm recording this video, and I've got a Linux workstation running Ubuntu 22.04, which has got 16 CPU cores and 32 gig of memory. And I've installed LXT in my Linux workstation, and in my terminal from MacBook I SSH'd into the Linux workstation. So all I'm doing in the terminal is on this machine in my Linux workstation, and in the LXT environment I'm creating the LXC containers for the Kubernetes nodes. Okay, so let's go back to the terminal. LSB release. Yes, I'm on the Linux workstation, that's fine. So cd to repos, and I'm going to git clone the Kubernetes repository because the changes that I'm going to show you are in this branch, fix LXT provisioning, which has not made its way into the master branch. So I just want to show you before I merge things to the master branch. But by the time you watch this video, I would have already merged these changes to the master branch. So make sure to pull the latest changes from the master branch after you watch this video, right? So that's done. CD to Kubernetes, and we have the LXD provisioning. So CD to LXD provisioning. What have we got here? So we have the kubelx, we have the k8s profile config. If I show you the k8s profile config, so this is the LXD profile that we want to use with our LXC containers, because we want to have certain settings, certain configurations for all our Kubernetes nodes. So we create a separate profile named k8s. So we assume this profile whenever we create the LXC containers. All right. So I've got this kubelx script, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, I can just show you right now. Kubelx. So basically, kubelx takes either provision or destroy as an argument, and then if you give provision, it will set up 3 nodes: kmaster, kworker1, kworker2. It goes through, it creates the LXC profile if it doesn't exist, and then it launches Ubuntu 22.04 LXC container. It runs the bootstrap script and everything is fine. So there's a for loop here that goes through each node, and then if you don't want to use this script, I personally use this script, which is for convenience. If you don't want to use this script, you can always have a look at the README documentation that I have in this folder. Yes, there is a README, so step-by-step instructions on how to launch a container, how to run the bootstrap script, and so on. But for me, it's easy just to run kubelx provision. So that's all I'm going to do. Alright, so before that, the main thing, the important thing that you got to do in your Linux workstation to get a successful Kubernetes cluster deployed and running in an LXD environment is this one. So make note of this command, which is again in the README file, but this is the one that was preventing from a successful Kubernetes cluster deployment and running in an LXD environment. So I had to scratch my head. I checked various internet articles and I found that this was actually missing. The idea is we don't have to set this if we were running this on a virtual machine environment, because the kube proxy pod will automatically set this setting on the host machine. But because we are running this in an LXD environment, the LXC containers where you're running the kube proxy won't have the necessary privilege to do this setting on the host where it's actually running, on the Linux host. So we have to do it on our own. So I did this, I found this when I deployed a Kubernetes cluster and noticed the kube proxy pod was failing. I looked into the logs of the kube proxy pod and I noticed that it was trying to set this setting and it got permission denied error. So I'm doing this manually on the host machine, which is the Linux machine here, so that the nodes themselves, they don't have to set the setting on the Linux host. So this step is very important. So you do that, and then I'm going to run the script. So this is going to create the LXC profile if it's not created already, and it's going to bring all the nodes one by one. So it has now launched the kmaster LXC container, and then it will run the bootstrap script, and then it goes to the kworker1, kworker2, and so on. So while it's taking its time to come up, then we can look at the pull request. Okay, so fix LXD provisioning. What has changed? Okay, so under README, there's not a lot that has changed. I've changed the instructions to use Ubuntu 22.04 instead of Ubuntu 20.04. And then we have the bootstrap kube. So what has changed here is, previously, as I said, I had a separate set of scripts for vagrant provisioning and LXD provisioning. So this bootstrap kube shell script is quite different to what I used to have in the vagrant provisioning scripts. But now I've kept both of them in alignment. So all the things that you see here are basically the same. So if I go back to the Kubernetes repository, vagrant provisioning. Under vagrant provisioning, you have the bootstrap kmaster, bootstrap kworker. So now the LXD provisioning scripts, bootstrap kube, is going to have the same set of instructions, same versions and everything as you see in the vagrant provisioning. Okay, right. Let's go back to the pull request again and look at the files changes. Okay, so the bootstrap kube script, as you've seen, if you've not seen my previous video, the video that I released last week, when I updated the vagrant provisioning scripts to work with Kubernetes version 1.29, I talked about the bootstrap script and the changes that I've made to the bootstrap script. So the changes here is very similar. Container D, we're installing container D, and the way we add the Kubernetes repository and install Kubernetes tools like kubeadm, kubelet, kubectl has changed from previous versions. So with 1.29, so there is a separate package repository URL that you need to specify, and I'm not specifying the version numbers here. So if you see here, I used to specify what version of the packages that I want, because previously there's just one repository where I have all the versions of the packages, but going forward I think we will have a repository for each release, and then you can install kubeadm, kubelet, kubectl without specifying the version, which means you'll always get the latest version available in that repository for that release 1.29. So at the time of recording this video, the latest version is 1.29.1, the patch version is 1.29.1, but depending on when you're running the script, you might get 1.29.2, 1.29.3, and so on. But if you want a specific version, you can pin the version like this, but you need to know what versions are available. You can't say, for example, you can't install kubeadm 1.28 or something, because this repository is for 1.29 packages, right? So that has changed. And then the biggest change now is I used to use the flannel. You can see here, deploy flannel network. So I don't want to use the flannel. If you think of the pod networking settings, configurations that you deploy in your Kubernetes cluster, once you initialize your Kubernetes cluster with kubeadm, you have to deploy a container networking thing. So there are lots of options: Calico, ViewNet, Flannel. The simplest of all is the Flannel, so you get the bare minimum networking features for your Kubernetes for the overlay networking. Flannel, which always worked fine. Again, it still works fine with the LXT environment, but I want to standardize this because I'm using Calico, because Calico comes with lots of additional features. And my viewers who are using my vagrant provisioning script, they don't have to hack my script to install Calico networking if they want to make use of some additional features that Flannel doesn't provide. So I thought it's a good idea to use Calico networking in my LXT environment as well. It was the reason I didn't use Calico before was I had lots of problems running Calico inside the LXC environment. But fortunately, with the latest version of Calico 3.27 and the latest version of Kubernetes 1.27, it's a perfect match and it's running in LXT. But yeah, it's all good. So going forward, for my personal use, for my home lab and everything, for my testing, I'm going to be using the LXT environment because I can pack in a lot of containers inside the Kubernetes cluster. Then I can pack the number of VMs, the virtual machines. Okay, so that's about it. And the K8s LXC profile has got a few extra settings. So this section here that I added, and I got this from one of the pull requests from one of the viewers, which helped me. So basically I had this one here, so I removed those options about mounting the dev kmsh. Now it has got its own section under the devices. Okay, let's go back to the terminal. By this time it should have finished deploying the cluster, and there we go. So on the kmaster we have these set of tasks, k worker 1, k worker 2. Okay, so LXC list. So we have these containers. Okay, all good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make directory .kube on my Linux host, and we have all these containers here. So now I'm going to pull the Kubernetes admin configuration from the kmaster to my Linux host so that I can run Kubernetes kubectl commands from my Linux host instead of logging into one of these containers. Okay, so the command is LXC file pull. You can see here LXC file pull from kmaster under etc kubernetes admin.conf. I'm copying that into .kube, and the file name is going to be config. Alright, so that's done, and I can do kubectl And by the way, if I show you the alias for K, it's kube color, which gives you some nice colorized output for kubectl. It's a wrapper script around kubectl. Alright, kubectl cluster info. We have our cluster running. Kubectl get nodes. There we go. So we have 3 nodes, 1 master, 2 worker nodes, version 1.29.1 Kubernetes. These are the internal IP address. And we are running Ubuntu 22.04 LXC container. Kernel version and the containerd version we are running is 1.6.27. Okay, so now let's take a look at the pods. kubectl get pods -a. Alright, so that is a beautiful output. That's a very nice output that I haven't seen in a very long time. So there are loads of pods, all of them in the running state, no restarts or whatever, and no crash loop backoff, no error, or any such error. So it's a clean output of Kubernetes cluster, which is what I wanted to see every time I launch a Kubernetes cluster in LXD environment. As you can see here, there's this Tiger operator, Calico system, Calico API server namespaces, and all these deployments, daemon sets, whatever pods are all related to the Calico. If you use Flannel, there will be less number of deployments, daemon sets, but when you use Calico, you will get lots of deployments because you get additional features with the pod networking things like pod network policies, pod security policies. I think you won't be able to do that if you're using Flannel. Alright, so we have our cluster running. Let's do our usual quick testing. This is not an extensive testing by any means, so just spin up a pod, a deployment replica set, see if it's working, and then expose it to a service, and then see if you can access it via the service and things like that. Let's do that. kubectl create deploy nginx, kubectl get all. So the container for nginx pod is getting created. There's this deployment and the replica set. Okay, our pod is now running. Let's expose it. kubectl expose the deployment nginx of the type node port, and the port we are going to expose is port 80. kubectl get all. So that's our nginx service with this node port 32505. Let's try and access this using the node port. So for that I need to know the IP address of the Kubernetes nodes. kubectl get nodes -o wide, because I need to see the IP address. So these are the IP address of the nodes. We can test the node port by accessing each of these IP address. It doesn't matter which IP address you pick, it should eventually lead you to the pod running. The pod is actually running. Let's take a look. kubectl get all -o wide. So you can see here the nginx pod is actually running in kworker1, but you don't have to go to kworker1. You can go to the kmaster, kworker2, and you will still be able to reach the nginx pod here. Okay. So let's do kubectl get nodes and then kubectl get service. Let's do the kmaster one first. Copy that. Curl, and the node port is this one. And we have our nginx welcome page. And let's do the same for 240. Which is kworker1, and again we get the same output. And now we'll do 38. That's kworker2. Cool. Nginx welcome page. There we go. Alright, let's delete that. kubectl delete deploy service nginx, kubectl get all. Everything is clean, and I'm going to run kubelx destroy. Okay, so that is it for this video. I will see you all in my next video. Until then, keep learning and keep on learning. Bye-bye.